Welcome to What a Time to Be Alive, the only podcast counting down everything this week that made you say, what a time to be alive. And now, Patrick Monahan, Kath Barbadoro, and Eli Uden.
Folks, welcome to What a Time to Be Alive, the podcast that counts down things that you can make say the thing that's the title of the podcast. I'm Patrick Monahan.
I'm Kath Barbadoro.
I'm Eli Uden. Welcome.
Hi.
Hello.
This is the fastest I've gone from not thinking I had to do a podcast to recording a podcast. I feel like I just remembered we were doing this like 15 minutes ago. I feel like I didn't have time to get in the podcast zone yet.
Well, now people can judge you. Now people know you could have just slid by, but now every word you say is going to be dissected.
I just feel like I'm not in the zone yet. I need to warn people.
Well, you know, we got into it. Well, have you just been off your phone? You've been bricked or something?
I've been bricked. I was running around Manhattan. I'm gonna be honest. I do have our group chat muted. I'm sorry.
Well, you know that probably doesn't help. I don't find it to be that active of a group chat.
I don't know. I just have it on. I check it all the time. You guys didn't know, but.
Sometimes.
Okay, the last text in there was Shelby sending us an erectile dysfunction ad. It was not about podcasting tonight. Thank you very much.
Well, I believe the one right before that is we're at 7 tonight. Yep, started a doc.
Okay,
so
fine.
I don't know if you worm your way out of this one.
Wow, yeah, no, guilty as charged. Guilty as charged.
Sorry, fellas, our business email chain is muted. Sorry, boss.
Sorry, I need to be in the moment for walking around or whatever was going on.
I learned my lesson. I have to unmute it. I have to get notifications. Push notifications on for the group chat. I'm very sorry.
I feel I've already felt there's another group chat, and I felt like a buffoon when I found out that I was the only one who didn't have it muted, and I was like, oh well, you know, I guess. No need for me to mute it. No need for me to respond to everything on here. You know, feels like showing up to a restaurant like an hour before everybody else or something.
I think I muted it because every once in a while we'll need to have like a long conversation in there, which is like, you know, important to see. But I feel like there was some time where it was like happening and I just couldn't get to it right away, so I just muted it, and then I left it like that. And now it's all coming out. The dirty laundry.
Now you're hoisted high on your own petard.
I am.
Yeah. Well,
I made it. I wasn't that late. It's fine.
Yeah.
No, she made it. Yeah.
Yeah. It's just that we're friends in there too much, and the getting messages from your friends is simply not worth getting also the business messages.
Yeah, we need a separate channel for friendship versus business talk. We gotta rearrange it so the Kath does not have to hear from me or Patty and anything that is not absolutely pressing.
Cut the fat.
Yeah,
exactly.
Yeah.
I feel like it makes it sound like my phone is just constantly blowing up in all ways. It's really not.
Everything's muted. So
it's not like I'm getting so many text messages that I need to mute things. Like, really not that popular. But, oh well.
Just firing off. Just jumping into my muted text chat to say that Eli hasn't been posting clips that are posted every week.
Wow. We are really. Wow. I'm gonna leave. It's better if I just go. People don't want to hear this.
We're also, you can't see it, but me and Patty are broadcasting from the same place. We're on one side of a table looking at Kath. Where
people listening can't see it. I am turning like bright red right now.
Yeah, Kath is.
I thought because I wasn't tagged that Eli was not posting clips, and I was offering to help post the clips. God damn it!
The Zoom is pitch black, and there's just a spotlight on, and we're just looming over her.
Wow.
Yeah,
I need to go black circle mode.
Chief, the tea has been spilled.
Kath's
I'm going
in the dock.
black circle avatar in the dock.
Kath's in the dock. Me and Patty have our barrister wigs on. We're going after cross-examination.
Wow.
Judge, we're going to need a recess. Witness has
said
been absolutely toasted.
Right away. As soon as you're like, I've been posting, I'm like, I'm sorry, my bad.
How far down the hole do we want to go? Because
No
the first
more,
thing you said
please.
was, well, you didn't post this other one. And I said, yes, I did.
Right. But then you explained, wow, this is hurting my
This
feelings.
is all in good fun, listeners. This is not a real. Don't worry. This is not
My
a real
feelings are a
thing.
little hurt for real.
I'm
a
sorry.
little hurt. No, it's okay. I did the thing that would have hurt someone's feelings, and I'm embarrassed about it. It's all right. I'm sorry.
It didn't hurt my feelings that badly because I'm not. I'm lightly perhaps needling about it, but no, don't worry, everyone. You can check
Just
the
so everyone
runtime of
knows,
the episode.
Eli tirelessly posts the clips every week without fail.
I go crazy on
mistaken.
it. It's hard. I have to take them into my workshop.
You have to think of a caption. That's hard. That's extra work.
Yeah,
It's true.
I have to shine them up, polish them, put them under my loop, make sure there's no imperfections, no flaws in color, anything like that, and then post them on Instagram, and they do okay. That's the business, baby.
Yep.
Let's do it. Hey,
Yep,
why not
putting
follow
another
us on Instagram?
Putting another clip in the slot machine. Just pressing that lever over and over and over again.
Yeah, we need somebody in the crowd yelling at us during our clips. That's what we need. We need somebody in the crowd providing what are arguably all of the jokes in the clip. That's what we need to take off on here.
I guess a call-in show is basically a crowd work podcast, right? That's pretty much what that is.
Yeah, I think so a little bit, but I feel like at the same time they're not as, the call-in shows are like more acknowledge how much the callers contribute. Maybe, I don't know. A lot of
You also have power in a way that, like, if somebody at a comedy club performing could like hit you with like the Matrix thing where your mouth goes away instantly, then that would be like the equivalent of a call-in show because you can't hang up on a heckler. You know what I mean? Like,
that's true.
I mean, that's the genius of the best show is that half the callers are terrified that he's going to hang up on them, and then he does on most of them. So
also if they're heckling, that's one thing, but there's the call-in show also has the versus crowd work is that person has chosen to enter a conversation very physically and has typed in the numbers, instead of just being like, hey, you two, what's your entire relationship? Are you banging? All that? I don't want to be looked at.
Well, you call
I
in because
acknowledged.
you want to talk about how you're banging. That's why you call in.
You go, hey, what's up? Calling in from Wisconsin here. Been dating for 2 years. We live together. Give them all the information up top. Let them know. Let's see. That's the thing. That's what you got to do now. That's the business.
I think we should do one. I think we should do a call-in show.
We could do it.
I think that'd be fun.
We got the mailbag sometimes on bonus. Sometimes keyword sometimes. But yeah.
I don't know what we would do on a call-in show. I don't know if any of us are super qualified to give advice.
I think you got to just believe you are. What did Ann Landers ever do? What's Ann Landers' personal life look like?
That's true. It might be a fucking mess.
I feel like a lot of times they are. I mean, they're like comics who are like life coaches on the side, and I was like, I feel like that's crazy.
Yeah, for all you know, her house is a disgrace.
Yeah,
you walk in there and it's like, damn, do you live like this?
Post pics, Ann Landers. It's like that workwear guy on Twitter. Hey, post your fit pics if you're going to talk about everybody else. You know?
Show us what you got going on.
We don't want any trouble. We don't want any trouble with that guy. We don't want trouble with that guy.
Come after me.
We don't want trouble.
I don't want any trouble. Don't want you to criticize the bagginess of our slacks or anything like that.
That's right.
Ann Landers
I think he's pro baggy slacks. He's very anti non-baggy slacks. That seems to be the rule of the day for pants, which I tried. I know it's different for women, but like I tried because I work at a college and all the young kids wear the baggy pants. I feel like they look terrible on me. I got to go back to skinny jeans.
That's the key of fashion is the whole point of like half of it is to wear for young people's fashion. It's wearing stuff that looks stupid if you're not young and hot. Like if you're not young, if you're not a hot 18-year-old, because they're the only ones that have the vibe of like, it looks like I'm wearing this ironically. So, Like if I wore big baggy jean coats or like zip off pants, people would just think I like those.
Never stopped.
Like,
yeah.
Yeah, exactly. They have to have the deniability. That's the whole part of it, I'm
those not
tiny
going
glasses.
Jinkos. Maybe I need to like go even bigger, and then I can just like own it. I feel like they just look like my pants don't fit. I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah, that's
but if I'm wearing
thing,
Jinkos, it's like they don't fit in an intentional way. Like maybe I need to go even bigger.
Well, that's supermodels
Smith
pants don't
shorts.
fit. Everyone's rubbing their hands together. Very nice.
Did they all like drag on the ground? Is that still part of the thing?
That like
that's no good.
No one yell at me, but I posted that I didn't like Kendrick Lamar's pants for that reason, because they were too long. The like halftime show pants.
His like mega boot cut.
His boot cut. And like I just remember, because I'm a little bit short, I have short legs, that like bottom quarter inch that just gets all like brown and raggedy and like nasty. Like that's got to be like one of the most disgusting. It's like that and skid marks are like
puddle water. It's just the nature of because if you don't wear them with like cowboy boots, there's like
that's
the
why they're
drags.
boot cut. You're supposed to wear them with the
I wrote an article. I'm the workwear guy now. I was like, this is like 5 reasons we can't go back to boot cut, and that was 2 of them. Is they get wet, they soak up water, and then But I looked because he was wearing them, and I was remembering the same thing. And there's like one shot while he's performing, he turns, and you can see that the back hem is shredded a little bit, like. And I was like, yep. And that's probably the first time he's worn those too. They're popping them on right before.
And there are no puddles on the Super Bowl halftime show set, and still the pants got fucked up.
They could put some puddles in there. Do a
water feature.
Is it Fred Astaire and Great? Who does Singing in the Rain? Doing at the
Gene
Super
Kelly.
Bowl halftime. Yeah, Gene Kelly at the Super Bowl halftime show, stomping around. That's his the opposite of pyro, water, aquo. They're puddles that you're dancing around in.
Well, we're gonna get a series of songs roasting cats' pants, culminating in a song calling them pedophiles somehow. I don't know. It's unclear, but that's where we're headed next.
I've put myself on the list, on the enemies list. I think he's busy. I don't think if you're like Kendrick Lamar's second worst enemy, I think you're safe. Like, he's getting it all out on number 1.
And I think you also just like, it's not like it was undeserved, Drake was like, your wife hates you and like your kid isn't yours. So it's not like he can be like, what? It's not like, what he say fuck me for? It's like, no, you.
Apparently, he was at some point recently. He was like putting out like response tracks and just like deleting them when they didn't hit. Like
we talked about it with James Hamilton. I was saying that's what he's apparently been doing.
Yeah.
He puts out songs and takes them off Spotify because if they don't get really big,
that's funny.
He's like a Fave Star guy.
Yeah, he's a Fave Star guy. Damn.
Yeah,
that's really that really hurts. And like, because that's not. Because he's not he's not the one. He's got to call a guy to do that. He's not doing that. So like,
he's
you
not
have to involve somebody
button.
else in your like shameful. All right, we gotta take it down from all the platforms or wherever and whatever coordination has to go on there. People getting
that
emails
is like
on
a
the
weird
weekend.
thing about like the age of music that we're in, that like you can just sort of unrelease things. Like I remember this was a big thing during when Kanye put out The Life of Pablo. He like was changing it after it was released. He put on different versions of some of the tracks and stuff. That's just like, I don't know, that's such a different way of conceiving releasing music. It's like no, you're supposed to like put it on the wax. Like there was a whole thing.
Yeah.
There's like some argument for that. I mean, I think it's not as much with music, but that's like the physical media thing. And part of it's not when it's like, oh, they made tweaks to it, but I know people who are like very, about movies and stuff, because they have changed some movies and they're like take out scenes and stuff. And it's like, no, that should be in there, Like,
like the Star Wars like remaster and stuff like that, where it's like no, I like the regular one.
Yeah. Like if you had to like torrent the original Huckleberry Finn PDF because it was never printed. We were like, okay, to get back to what this originally said. I
have a question actually before we go into
about
numbers.
Huckleberry Finn.
Kind of about this thing. If you're going to watch a movie and you haven't seen the movie yet, and there's a director's cut and a theatrical cut, are you going to watch the director's cut or are you going to go theatrical?
I almost feel like it depends on the director, but I feel like I usually do theatrical cut. I think that directors... I'm not a fan of, like, executives. But
Eli's a big studio guy.
Yeah, I'm a big studio guy. But I think there's, like, a good amount of the time the director was wrong. Like...
It's a collaboration.
Yeah. It's not a guarantee that... Especially with, like, I get studio notes, like, in production are frustrating. I feel like with editing sometimes the person who didn't make the movie is right. Because they're not, like, as... It's not every scene is like their baby, so they can be more, merciless with it. And like, usually that is what you want.
I also feel like directors, like it was different maybe when movies were shorter. A 2-hour movie director's cut that's like 2:30, I'd be like, oh yeah, let's see what else. But if the movie is already like 2:30, I'm like, I think everything I need is in here. Like,
well, you had
a lot of breathing room.
I was thinking about this because I didn't end up watching it. I saw the TV Glow instead, which was very good. But I almost watched A Star Is Born last night, like the Lady Gaga one. And
guarantee that's not necessary.
There's a director's cut. There's a director's cut that's like 2 hours and 40 minutes long. And I was like, why? Who is this for? Maybe it's more songs. I don't know. But I was like, no way in hell am I watching that.
That movie's pretty good. That movie,
I bet it is. I don't know if I need extra half an hour of it though.
Yeah. I don't know. I'm not sure what that consists of. It's a pretty. There's not a lot of fat on the story. I'm not sure what. You know what I mean? I don't know what more. I don't know where that's going other than necessary. I would say for my take on that question, it would depend on if there's like a whole story about the movie. You know what I mean? Because I think I probably would go theatrical at least to start, and then
unless I heard like about some drama,
like they took it away from him or something, or whatever, like that kind of thing. Because then I would be maybe more interested in seeing the director's cut, or well, that's mainly what I'm talking about. Yes.
Yeah. Let me get.
What if it was like 16 hours long and black and white for 2/3 of it? And
I think also I would like it more if I knew when, because you want to know the difference. So if the director's cut had like a VH1 pop-up sort of thing where like there's a frame that pops up and they were like, "This is what the director put in." I want to know what they put back in. Be like,
there should be like a little chyron or something, or like a different border around it.
Yeah,
so you
can vote. You can text and vote. This is what the director put back in. Do you think they should have? Let us know.
More things should be like pop-up video, just generally.
Somebody who apparently
does great.
Somebody who does that apparently is Michael Mann. He's like never done. Like there's like a new direct. Yeah, he like keeps like he's like maybe I'll and that was what was going on with like Black Hat, which was
he's like the Taylor Swift
bomb.
He's
he's like every artist now at this point.
Well, that was a royalties thing. The reason
what is the album?
She tweaked all that stuff, right?
She like loves to release alternative versions of even like new stuff. Like there's
it also keeps everything on top of the charts and stuff too.
Right.
But everyone seems to do that now. Now there's like 4 versions of every album.
That's true.
And it's just like, can we? This is mostly for
pick
my
the
own
best songs.
It's for
pick
my
the best songs.
Music management. Like I don't want to have to like remove all them from the play. Like I want I want to have the complete one. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like when I add it to my Apple Music library, I don't want to have to like But anyway, that's a very
we should do numbers by the way.
Yeah, Kingdom of Heaven director's cut.
Number 5.
It's supposed to be good. I have not seen it.
I was going to say music albums, too. I like to listen to the Not the Deluxe.
Number 5.
There you go. Number 5 this week comes to us from The Average Gatsby in the Discord. This is, I feel like our first 2 stories this week we're for in a good way, are things that we have now claimed as part of our coverage. But we've had much discussion of vermin on planes, animals on planes, and how much of a problem that causes. This is not vermin. Don't yell at me, okay? That was a description of the stories before this.
This would solve the vermin problem.
Yes,
actually,
you would
think
this is
a solution.
One would think that this is the solution that bodegas have found, and it seems to be pretty effective. And what it is that a cat got on a plane. It got on a Ryanair plane. If you're unfamiliar with Ryanair, it's basically European Spirit Airlines, as far as I know. I know them mostly for trying to get people to make planes that you stand on the whole time for short flights. They're just trying to, but they lean into being a value airline. I feel like Spirit tries to pretend they're just like, we're just one of the guys, and we're like, you're like a desperation flight, Ryanair is just like, we make it cheap, and that's what you're doing.
You're flying like 20 minutes to France, so like, don't worry about it. It's gonna be. You're like going on these little hops around Europe. It'll be fine. Yeah, I am wondering about the standing. The standing plane is interesting to me because like I get the idea is you can fit more people in, right? But doesn't the plane have to be like taller somehow? Like I feel like you can't really stand.
I feel like they changed their luggage probably.
I assume there's no overheads maybe.
Yeah.
Got to be no overheads. Got to
just have your stuff. It just it's funny because it just feels weird physically to think about because like even though it's not really totally how it works, you'd be like, well, you're all going to fall to the back of the plane when it takes off. You're like, it doesn't really work that way. But
the idea of like thinking of it like a train, it's like, okay, but a train operates on the same plane as a person. Like it goes forward and backward, and an airplane, like the sensation is not that different, but it does feel like when you take off, everybody's like leaning into each other or something.
People's basic understanding of like how a plane stays in the air is fragile. You don't want to like poke that bear. Like everyone's cool with it, but once you start messing with stuff, it's like, like when somebody looks out the wing and then, somebody's like, actually, that's fine for that flap to be gone. And they're like, yeah, but just people aren't cool. People are they're on a knife's edge with this stuff.
I wish I could remember who posted it, but there was a good post the other day where it's like, actually, the gremlin works for the airline, or the airline said he could be out there, so don't worry about it.
Yeah. No, the gremlin is part of planned obsolescence in the air.
He's busy around. Out there.
He's there.
He's fixing it.
He's working at the kinks. Yeah. Those wires that panel was supposed to be opened and all the stuff inside scrambled around. That's part of this.
I hate that you can see the stuff inside the panels. I feel like we talk about planes a lot, but look, there's a lot to say.
They're a big
there's
part
a reason.
Of the world. Yeah.
I hate when you can see the stuff. When the panel moves and you see the stuff underneath. I should be able to see that.
We got to get our thoughts in before air travel as a concept just kind of winds down.
Until we're done with it.
In the U.S. And globally. It's the end of it. We're getting there. We're getting close.
Pointing out to the attendant that there's a gremlin on the wing and then being like, oh, no. That's a gnome. He's actually fixing the wing. Gnomes fix, gremlins break. That's good. You want to see the gnome. If you look closely, he has a little name tag he's wearing, our uniform.
I'd feel reassured if I saw a gnome on the wing of the plane. I think that would make me feel like we're in good hands.
Yeah, holding his little hat on in the wind.
Yeah, it's like a stout little guy, stout and true. He's out there.
He's who you'd want to send in. I mean, that's, we can't, this plane, air travel might go away, child labor might come back, but presuming it doesn't, you got to get a gnome in there. Yeah. Like, that's
Snowpiercer Airlines.
Stuff.
It's just a bunch of kids flapping their arms at the bottom of the plane.
We got to get a new kid to do the weird little hand thing. That's a key part of keeping the plane in the air. That's actually
what's the weird little hand thing
in Snowpiercer?
Oh, you're talking about Snowpiercer. I thought you meant in real life. There was a weird hand thing.
You didn't know that? That's what down underneath in avionics. There's a kid doing a weird little hand thing on every plane.
I don't remember the kids in Snowpiercer. I just remember Tilda Swinton
they don't
playing
have
Gaddafi.
It good.
They're not doing well?
They don't have it good. They're a pretty central part of the economy and diet of the Snowpiercer train is what happens. They're living in little like holes. They're basically like...
They have little hands they can reach and clean something out as part of the sacred engine. That's why they take the kid.
They've engineered a train that, like, instead of crankshafts, apparently requires a small child to turn. And it's, like, hard to because it is what they're doing is absolutely doable with, like, a rod. But, it's a Snowpiercer. Patty
they were in a rush. They had to go.
Patty sent us a picture of a gnome dabbing in a shirt that says "I'm awesome." But the most important thing about this to me is that it comes from a website called WalmartImages.com.
That's right.
So how do you have this? Are you just Googling gnomes when we bring up gnomes? So
I was just looking at gnomes.
Just browsing the gnome web.
Thinking about what kind of gnome I wanted to see on a plane.
Our gnomes.
On a wing. I don't know if I'd be that comfortable with this guy, you know.
He looks angry. Yeah.
But I don't know. There's a lot of guys on here you wouldn't want to see. Man, there's so many things that people must think are really funny, and people just do not have good senses of humor in the gnome department.
Like this podcast.
All right, that's right.
It is funny, just not for the reason they think. But
it's funny because the gnomes all have like a weird argument about one of the gnomes not responding to texts or something. I don't know.
The gnomes, yeah. As for this plane, the cat they got onto the plane. It was first located in an electrical bay, going full alien, going fucking. What's the cat's name in that movie? Patty knows.
Alien? I can't remember.
How is this?
This is like a classic bar trivia thing. I can't believe none of us know.
Jonesy?
Jonesy.
Jonesy.
Yeah, going Jonesy. They said they were flying along and they're like, "Oh, we got a cat in the chain room, the room full of chains. We got to go get it out." But part of what I like here, so this cat, the delay. We've talked about how rats cause like a delay for like a full day because they have to check all the wiring. This cat caused 2 days of delays. And part of it is they act like they found the cat, but they didn't. During pre-flight check, a cat's sound, which I guess they just didn't want to write a meow, but that's what I assume it is, unless it was a hiss. During pre-flight check,
sometimes
a cat's
they make
sound.
Little chirps.
Yeah. Yeah, those are baby meows. Those are just meows.
They call it the cat activation sound, where if you touch it or something, it goes
turning on. Yeah.
That's a meow. That's like a nice crunchy meow that you have on the soundboard.
Bass boosted meow.
That's what it sounds like. Yeah, when I like poke Zelda, that's what it's like.
Just poking her all the time. Right in the ribs.
I do be poking her sometimes. I do be poking her.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, so they heard the chirp or whatever, the cat noise.
They heard the cat noise, and then this is the report, the official report. They go, identified cat inside forward electrical and equipment bay. While trying to catch it, cat moved to the back of main electrical equipment bay through air stair compartment, which is such a funny way to be like. And then it ran away to the other side of the room, but that's what that is. And apparently they removed cargo compartment panels. They like started to take the plane apart to get the cat out, and they never got the cat out. The way that the cat eventually got off the plane was that they left the door open, and eventually the cat walked down the stairs out of the plane, and they were like,
"So were they flying?
Job well done."
When this happened?
No, this was in the pre-flight check.
Okay, so they didn't like take off with it just somewhere.
No.
Or did they? Okay.
They would have if the cat hadn't given itself away like an idiot by meowing.
Right. It could have been a stowaway. It could have had a whole new life, you know?
I feel like a cat would go absolute. I'm sure you can fly with a cat and people have, but
I have.
I feel like the air pressure cats have so many like little fucking measurements thing, you know, they're always like their whiskers measure their balance and I feel like they're delicate instruments. I feel like going into air pressure, they'd go fucking bananas, you know?
I don't know. Zelda was surprisingly chill when I had to fly with her. I did give her drugs, so that probably helped. But if you ever see
yeah. Knock him out.
I think she was so freaked out that she just like didn't make any noise because she was like that scared. But I had to take her out. So if you ever see this at the airport, know it is like the worst moment of a cat owner's life. You have to take them out when you go through like security. So you have to have it on like a leash and stuff because, a cat is not going to necessarily stay where you want it to when it's going through security at the airport, a famously calm environment. No bad energy that a cat might pick up on.
Not a lot of stuff moving around.
Yeah. Very quiet, not a lot of stimuli around it. So you have to like carry your cat through. And like when I was doing it, there were like little kids around who were like so excited that there was a cat. And I just had to be like, nope. Do not even like come look at it because she's going to freak the fuck out. And she was fine. She was a good sport. But yeah, they're just like, kitty. And I'm like, nope, sorry.
She hates this.
She hates this. This is the worst moment of her life. I'm sorry that you have to be a part of it, but
you got to put a falconer's hood on her or like a gimp mask. Yeah. You got to strap it in.
A cat falconer. That would be sick. She would have. The thing is funny though is if you put something on a cat's head, they will run backwards trying to get it off. They will propel backwards in a way that is very funny. So I don't think a falconer would work.
You get to security, you open up your little trunk, and then you take out the cat in the gimp suit, and you unzip its mouth so it can go meow, and then you bring it through.
Deactivate it. You have to deactivate the cat at security. This cat seems activated. Yeah, I'm going to I'm going to security and taking out my long stainless steel suitcase and assembling my cat in front of them, disassembling it, putting it back together. Cleaning the chamber of the cat.
Nothing dangerous here.
Yeah.
Do they have any theories about how this cat got where it was?
No, not in particular. I mean, I think they're just I'm trying to find what airport it happened at, because some of them are probably just a stray city cat.
It was in Rome, so I guess it was
okay.
Lots of stray cats in Rome.
Very reasonable, yeah. And I feel like the Rome airport is pretty close to the city. It's not like a hour drive away situation as much as some are, but not 100%. So yeah, just a classic Roman cat, a proud Roman cat. This cat furious about Christopher Columbus's statues being taken down. Very mad. But yeah. And then I love that this cost Ryanair thousands of pounds, tens of thousands of pounds, which for Ryanair, that's a lot of flights.
That's like 100 flights.
That's $1 billion flights.
That's going to
Ryanair
tank
is crazy
them.
cheap.
Yeah. Profit margins razor thin, not making a whole lot.
I've never had the pleasure. I always envisioned them having
it's fine.
A bar like a roller coaster that comes down when you sit down and then you can't get up.
You have to pay €5 to unlock it.
It's also
you need to go to the bathroom.
I just feel like you see it and it's some lad on holiday is going to beat up or throw up on me. You know what I mean? That's what's going to happen.
Lad Air. It's the Lad Air.
You're on the plane with the cast of the movie Sexy Beast. That's who's on there.
The plane can't take off unless there is a stag do or a hen do taking place.
Oh man, you're always sitting in front of a stag do on Ryanair. The worst.
I think they also have a hard time because Europe has a affordable and functioning train system that works well. So it's kind of why do you want to do all this anyways? Just get on there.
Rooting for piss. If you're in that, that's what I always assumed. If we're gonna pick one,
it has to be one.
Folks, if you like this episode, you should check out our bonus episodes. We do one every week. This week, we talk about my trip to New Zealand and various details about a really wonderful journey.
Plus, of course, a little preface about various pizza chains and the validity of their claims that their bread is crazy.
And if you like all that, we also have ad-free versions of our main episode available on our Patreon feed. So check it all out, patreon.com/whatatimepod. Should we do number 4?
Number 4.
Number 4.
Number 4 comes to us from the Hamburger Hinderer in Discord. This is a story about our old friend, the mummy.
The mummy.
The titular one. The main one.
So I'm not sure what the basis for this study was, but it was just it's pretty cool that the people get to do these kinds of things, I suppose. Study in the Journal of the American Chemical Society. They did a test using scientific methods and kind of ran some piping and stuff, I guess, in the sarcophagi that mummies that have been stored and have been sealed, they smell good. They still smell good. That's the main.
They still smell good. I feel like there was probably a short period after they were buried where they smelled bad.
Yes, now that's true. Now they kind of smell more.
Quick. Yeah, they're yanking all that stuff out right away. They're basically, as soon as you're dead, they're in your nose, cleaning you out.
They are like packing you full of like fragrant herbs.
I wouldn't want to smell what's in the canopic jars.
Canopic jars stinky, but they basically turn your body into like a big tea bag. I think.
Yeah, they're stuffing you full of aromatics. You get a lot of aromatics. Little bag of tarragon in your ass and
a bay leaf
in there. Putting a bay leaf in the mummy.
They're opening up one of those little packets you get with pizza. It's like a bunch of oregano and a few, and just kind of shaking that in there. Yeah.
Well, I wonder if they ever they have notes, the notes of the smell too. That's funny.
Woody, spicy, sweet.
Sounds good.
And floral notes. This is they put a bunch of stuff in there.
They say pine and juniper resin. I mean, that's you're 2/3 of the way to a candle I'd buy for sure.
Yeah.
Juniper, great stuff.
Love a resin. Love a resinous smell. Delicious.
They got to very resinous. That just makes me think of like some, one of those like stoners in college who's like scraping like the resin.
Yeah, that doesn't smell good.
Yeah. No, I wonder if they ever recorded, because people used to eat pieces of mummies, and now they don't do that anymore for good reason. But somebody should have written down what
too
it tastes
expensive.
Like. Yeah,
that's a good
simply
reason.
Too expensive.
There must be accounts of what they taste like. I would be very curious. Probably like
a tea
jerky.
Yeah. Tea plus jerky.
Kind of bone broth. It's very close to bone broth, I suppose.
That is, yeah. What was the purpose of this? Did they like set up some kind of scientific experiment to like smell the sealed mummies? Did they I don't know, stick a crazy straw down there or something?
I mean, it says here the researchers wanted to systematically study the smell because it's long been a subject of fascination for the public and researchers alike. So it's just kind of like, hey, man, we wanted to check this out. There's really not a lot of...
Finally, yeah.
It's not clear. There's not like any clear application to this information, like it's not like, but I mean, if you put a bunch of stuff that smells good and you seal it up, it still smells good a while later.
People want to know. They should admit more of that stuff.
What's it smell like in there?
Hey, that's what everybody wants to know. They want to know what a mummy smells like, and they got to act like they're like, that's not what we're here for. It's a little bit what you're there for, so that you find out what they smell like and tell us. Because they got to know from just cracking it open. You got to, that's, when you pop that sucker open,
right?
It's got to just
Which I imagine, I know they don't, but I imagine they're doing it with a crowbar.
Yeah.
A little...
Well, they're always using their little brushes and stuff. The archaeologists, they always got their little,
right. They're always doing the little pipe cleaners and the teeny little brushes. What do they do if they need some like real brute strength? Like
they got like a padded crowbar, real.
They use like a claw machine, to grab.
They call those hunks who haul junk to come crack open a mummy for them.
That's
pop
right.
the top.
Best day of your life as a mover is when you get to crack open a mummy. That's got to be a highlight.
When you're moving the Crypt Keeper, when you're moving the house from Unsolved Mysteries, and you get to move all those. Unless
you're moving Nosferatu, because then you're gonna get murdered on the boat. So
you don't want to be stuck on the Demeter crew,
right? That was basically college hunks hauling junk for Nosferatu times.
College hunks hauling Dracula. Yeah. There's also got to be, I imagine there's a couple mummies where either they messed it up or they just kind of went bad. You crack one open and you're like, not a good one.
I think they do go bad. I think that's why they don't crack them open much anymore, is because they kind of crumble into dust as soon as a shaft of light hits them, I think. Exactly.
Yeah. I like how they say, there's a quote here from someone who I can't pronounce their last name because it has only one vowel and way more consonants than that. But that using technical instruments to measure and quantify air molecules emitted from sarcophagi to determine the state of preservation without touching the mummies was like the Holy Grail. I don't know if it was, but I feel like the Holy Grail of archaeology is the Holy Grail.
Yeah. Particularly of archaeology, it's a pretty 1-to-1. That's kind of where you'd find it.
It's kind of like saying someone's the Michael Jordan of basketball. It's like, no, that's your job.
It's in your realm.
He did. Yeah. I guess
if you study mummy, if you study this very specific thing, it's like the Holy Grail of mummy smell or whatever.
Still, I feel like even mummies have, like, the holy grail of mummies is, like, whoever the biggest mummy that they haven't found is yet. One of the Ramses is still missing or whatever.
Well, that's like the interesting thing about King Tut is like he was like a bullshit king. He was like not a notable pharaoh at all. The only thing that was notable is that his tomb didn't get robbed. Like all the other ones had been ransacked. Like I think it's like one of the only intact ones they've ever found. So he's become the guy, but like he was not the guy. He was a little like 15-year-old, and they think he might have gotten like beaten over the head to death or something. So if
I remember right from like he was not a pharaoh for very long, and the main thing he did was just like apologize for how bad of a pharaoh his dad was, because his dad was somebody who like tried to change the religion of Egypt. And then he had like 5 years to be like, guys, I am so sorry about that. Just know I'm not into that.
Was that his dad was the Akhenaten, the one who like moved their city? Like he moved into the desert and was like, we have a different religion now and all our art looks different. And everyone was like, okay. And then as soon as he died, they all went back.
Go, okay. And then they're all like, we are going to kill this guy.
Yeah.
I cannot emphasize enough, if you are an ancient king, do not try to change the central religion of your population. It goes
He changed like so much
poorly.
stuff. It's crazy. Like the art from that time looks different. It's the ones with the like really elongated heads. That's him. Like he was like, we're doing all the stuff different. We're starting from zero, starting from scratch. And it didn't take.
He was the son of Akhenaten, who I think was like, we got a new sun god, everybody.
Great news.
Yeah.
Son under new management.
Hey man, how about you just leave that alone? I feel this will not end well for you. You know, that's doing stuff like that's how you get called a mad king. You can't be doing that. You can't end up one of those. What's the Roman one? Helio something? Just leave it, you know, just chill. If you're a king, just chill, man. Just be cool. That's what you should do. Don't make everybody mad. Yeah. Well, it's good to know they smell nice. I bet they're happy. They would be happy. Maybe they are in the Sea of Reeds or wherever. They're like, nice. It worked.
Yeah.
I'm still smelling good.
Now I'm thinking about like, I want to develop like a scent concept for my funeral.
Yeah.
You know?
But
I feel like I need an associated smell.
Their tomb's got to smell awful because they put all that fruit and stuff in there. Right? And I don't think they embalm that.
Yeah, but
I think that's long gone by the time they're.
I'm not sure how much
long rotted. Yes.
Yeah. I think Patty's right though. I think I would not want to stick my nose in a canopic jar even after this much time. I feel like that might go south.
Yeah, you're not supposed to open those. That's you don't
want to mess with that stuff.
Yeah,
it's like a
it's
bouillon.
Sealed up for a reason.
It's like a pate. It's very rich. You only use a little small amount.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that's like the famous thing about how honey doesn't go bad. And so like these people found like a mummy that was preserved in honey and they ate some of the honey before they realized there was a guy in it. And they were like, oh no, no good.
Honey mummy just sounds like... Honey mummy just sounds like one of those cereals from like the bottom shelf, you know? You're like... It's like Blueberry, but different, you know? Like gold. It's like a knockoff Golden Crisp. Honey Mummy.
Honey
it's
Mummy.
One of those.
Yeah. It has, like a copyright-free mummy mascot.
That is brilliant.
Comes in a plastic bag, no cardboard, in the bottom shelf.
Yeah. Just toss it. Comes in this storage. It's like the popcorn left over at a movie theater. Just a garbage bag. Take as much as you can. Get going.
Man, I'm always pleased with that. The garbage bag of popcorn.
Yeah.
Oh, that was such a score. Big fan.
Kind of the right amount, you know. Let's be honest.
Given how I eat popcorn, absolutely. Number 3.
Number 3.
Yep.
The old rule of fives. Number 3 is this comes to us from all my vocalizations while I read the list. This comes to us from Hamburger Hinderer in the Discord as well. This is an exclusive from the New York Post. Don't want to know what the New York Post does to get an exclusive. I would assume it's something bad. But man, if you've not followed it, the government of New York City is old school. And by old school, I mean hilariously corrupt. I don't know about hilariously. Kind of less hilarious by the moment. But the further they look into everything, allegedly, shit was pretty not above the water. And one thing they found out is straight out of like I would describe this as a harebrained scheme of sorts. And it is that, so the former New York City Police Commissioner, Edward Caban, I don't remember what he got fired for, but it's connection with something. They're all, I don't want to speak out of turn, but I will say it's probably not, he wasn't discharged honorably, I don't think he was just like, hey, I'll take a break and everyone's going to be happy about it. But he has a twin.
I believe it basically had to do with this, I think. So that's what we're about to say. Sort of general investigation into the Adams administration, and this seems to be the general cause. So
just I think generally they were like, this whole you smack of bribery, I think, was the general vibe of the investigation of like,
it's like, hey, what are you guys doing over there? I'd like to resign for the good of the city. You'll never hear from me again. That's it.
Yeah, backing out of the room slowly. Backing away until you're at the top of a mountain, away from society.
Right. No, just doing the Sound of Music, like the kid singing the song going to bed. You just break into the song. Goodbye.
Bye-bye.
Yeah.
So
what happened?
They walk in, they go, show us your Venmo history. And then they go, it's been an honor to work in this city. So this guy, he's got a twin brother, identical twin, I believe.
Already untrustworthy. Can't be doing that.
We're on stance with that. And
not allowed
so
to be that as an adult.
Apparently, this guy was somehow involved, allegedly, in kind of like protection rackets for nightclubs and different clubs and restaurants and stuff, saying, don't worry about getting investigated if you're on my good side and you send me a Venmo payment that has the emojis like the red circle crossed through it and like magnifying glass, like no investigation, please. But the way that he made sure that these places weren't investigated was that he would just go to the police station and pretend to be his brother and tell them to stop investigating. He would go in. So it says, the commissioner is Edward Caban. This is James Caban. So James Caban showed up at the 34th Precinct in Washington Heights at least 5 times and falsely led cops to believe he was his brother to influence precinct enforcement activities related to lounges and other forms of nightlife entertainment. So yeah, that does sound like he just walks in and goes, hey, everybody.
All right, knock it off.
You walk in and go, hey, everybody, it's me, your boss, Edward Caban, and I'm telling you that this lounge is great. No problems there. Just got back from checking it out myself, actually. Decided I'd do it, give it the personal look, and it is A-okay over there. Time to cross it off our whiteboard.
This is wild because, like, the idea that the problem is that it was his twin. It's like, oh, well, if the police chief just told us to randomly stop investigating different clubs and bars, then it would be fine. That would be all right. But we had to add another level of corruption to it.
Yeah. We thought the police chief was just walking and then clearly he thought he was being sneaky, removing certain photos from our suspects board. That seemed normal to us. Also, here's a little backstory. Here's a little backstory on James Caban. He was also a police officer. He was fired because he got into a fight with a taxi driver 2 decades ago.
Well, 2 decades ago, what else was there to do in New York City? Everybody gotten in a fist fight with a taxi driver.
It's interesting, that he'd be interested in enriching himself or whatever's going on with this corruption when I assume he's pulling down a $300,000 a year pension, despite being fired for cause or whatever happened. So that's interesting.
Yeah. Just file a bunch of overtime you didn't do. You don't need to do more crimes. There's
as a retired police officer filing a bunch of overtime, it's like approved. These guys are heroes.
Never retire.
Yeah.
They just lie in wait or whatever. They probably have some fucking shirt that says that. Yeah, just collect your $300,000 a year pension and what I assume is probably like a series of $25,000 a year consultancy fees from the Adams administration to come, turn a wrench once on something or whatever they're doing.
Yeah, to come talk to the Adams administration and say you should arrest more criminals and then go home.
I've seen pictures of these guys, and one has a goatee, one has a mustache. Because the mustache, the police chief had the mustache. So did the guy shave his goatee or just have a goatee for those times when he was saying, "Hey, quit investigating these nightclubs"?
Hey,
I'm
fellas.
imagining the facial hair was actually court ordered, that they have to have separate. Like you can't have the same one.
Knock it off.
One of you has to wear glasses now. That's the rule.
Only one of you can dye your mustache.
Hey, fellas, how do you
Exactly.
like my new look? Anyways, where do we keep our suspects board? Where do we keep all our investigations again?
You got to wear a blue shirt. You got to wear a red shirt. That's the way it is.
Evil twin having a goatee is like a little much. I feel like that's.
Come on, man.
It seems like they both may switch it up. There's another picture here where they both have the goatee, and I guess somebody did tell them to cut it out.
Yeah. No more shenanigans.
Yeah, which I just find that I feel like when somebody gets a goatee, it's to the grave. Once you get on the goatee ride, it's until the wheels come off. It's wild to leave the goatee train.
Well, sort of spiritually, it's going to be there forever. Unless
Right.
it was like
It is
real,
an eternal mark. Yeah.
unless it was a real dalliance, and you repent sufficiently. I feel like it's going to be that's part of you.
Yeah. You're shaving those cheeks forever, clean shaven. A lot of goatee takes so much. You got to have all different lengths of trimmer. It's a wild thing to commit to, really.
You don't see them a whole lot anymore. I gotta be on the lookout. You don't see a lot of goatees. You also don't see the chin strap. The chin strap really had a moment.
You know where you can see a lot of goatees? On X, the Everything app. A lot of goatees on
That
X,
is
the
actually,
Everything app.
I guess I'm thinking of like young people goatees. A lot of old guys with goatees, or like the baseball player, like the just around the mouth, nowhere else type deal.
Yeah.
A lot of those. Is that a goatee? I feel like a goatee is when there's no mustache.
No, goatee is
Goatee's been kind of colloquialized, I feel like, too, because I think what we're thinking of as a goatee is a Van Dyke or something.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
No. What he has is a goatee.
Okay.
Then just the chin is a billy goat.
Right.
Okay.
Really?
The Van Dyke is the mustache and but it doesn't connect on the sides of your mouth.
Okay. Sure. Okay.
Okay.
Trust me on this, all right?
We need to go to the barber board again.
Yeah.
Once
you go bald, they give you a list and they go, you get to do
Spencer
one of
Dinwiddie
these.
has one.
Spencer Dinwiddie has a crazy one. He has like one of those really thick ones. He's got a real woolly willy situation going on. Where like this part's filled in, it's crazy, big thick goatee on that fella. Really good stuff.
Oh, this is
kind of like
What's it called when you have the mustache and then you have the line and then you have the bottom little chin beard?
I think that would be a Van
about?
Dyke.
Is that a
I think
Van
it's
Dyke?
just like an over trimmed Van Dyke. You're thinking of like the guy. You're thinking of like Shifty from Crazy Town.
I guess I am thinking of
R.I.P.
Shifty Shell Shock from Crazy Town. We all know.
Yeah.
R.I.P. We miss him every day. I guess
That's
he had
the Shifty
one.
Shell Shock.
Yeah.
Yeah. Also, I saw some
I feel
very
like
funny
Durst
posts.
had that with no mustache, I feel like.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's
That's what I'm looking at. I'm looking at a whole Google
It's like the
image
over
search
trimmed beard.
here.
It's still a beard, but it's just when it's like a hard line, it's just been over groomed. I also read something funny about Crazy Town that like the drummer from Crazy Town was like a session drummer and a famous jazz guy, and then they were just like put on a beanie and stand in the back.
Yeah. Yeah, he's
You're
like-
like
he's
15 years older than all of us.
much older than them, had a whole career being a drummer in the 70s, and then was the drummer on that Crazy Town record. And they were like,
Yeah.
wear some sunglasses, man. We're hiding you behind that drum kit. Don't worry about it. Shifty
There's
Shell
also- I don't
Shock
know
will
if you-
take it from here.
I don't know if you guys have listened to Crazy Town, but Butterfly specifically recently. It's like there's the part you remember that Shifty Shell Shock. There's another rapper in Crazy Town, and
Wow.
he's really bad. He's like
Really?
crazy bad at it.
Hang
yeah,
on.
Believe it or not.
dude, Shifty Shell Shock does what he does.
He was the
which,
talent. He was the talent.
It's Yeah, there's the Shifty Shell, and then there's another guy who's just like, I'm in love with you. That's the Shifty Shell Shock.
This is Shifty, right?
I think this is the other guy.
This is making me feel crazy.
Stop this.
I can't.
I did not know this. This is like too much. This is a sample of a Red Hot Chili Peppers song. That's like, come on, dude. Like, you can't have the snake eating its own tail like that. You can't do that.
I have a very vivid memory of one time I was at this comedy club in Austin, and I was gonna do a show, and I was like sitting in the bar, and a guy comes in, and that song is playing, and he like not as a bit in like 2013 was like, "Oh, I love this song."
Nice, dude.
Oh yeah.
So wild to witness. Just someone really excited that Crazy Town was playing.
Yeah.
And then I did comedy for him, which I'm sure he loved. I'm sure he loved it as much as Crazy Town.
You did your whole Crazy Town block, which is unfortunately very anti, so it's polarizing. So this is from Mother's Milk, great album title.
Nasty.
by the Chili Peppers. The song is called Pretty Little Ditty, which I feel like could be the
Try that in a
title of
crazy town.
every. Yes, try that in a crazy town. Pretty Little Ditty could be every single Chili Peppers song and lyric, basically.
Yep. They all sound like that.
Like really kind of. They really got
Burbank.
They nailed it early. This is 1989, so they had their whole
knew.
deal.
They emerged fully formed. They with the socks on their wieners, They knew what they were doing.
So
They locked it
Beating
down.
up Keanu in Point Break.
and then they passed the
Strange.
torch to Shifty Shell Shock et
Yes.
al. And DJ AM also
And then they
RIP.
And then they took the torch back later.
Yeah.
They
Yes.
gave them the
So
torch for
strange.
like 6 months, and then they took it back.
It's really just because it's strange because they get like Red Hot Chili Peppers get shit on all the time, but I feel like except for Anthony Kiedis, probably all members of it are considered very talented musicians.
Yeah.
John Frusciante, Flea, Chad Smith, like they're all like very good at their instruments.
There are
I
plenty
think
of their songs that I like, but there's something about it that is very silly. If you're not like in the right mood, you're like, oh brother, what is going on here?
Well, it all started going downhill with Stadium Arcadium, clearly, when they started dressing up, getting all weird.
Getting born in the state of Mississippi, Papa was a copper and the mama was a hippie.
Acapella
Pretty
track.
Little Ditty. I feel like it is Anthony Kiedis is what is bringing them down. As far as like
Alabama, she was swinging a hammer.
It's very like Yabba Dabba Doo, and
Yeah.
it's just a lot of it's like
Price you gotta pay when you break the panorama.
that's probably honestly Yabba Dabba Doo probably unlocks something in Anthony Kiedis, just like like that,
Priest, I'm your priest.
yeah.
all right.
Well, I love how much of that we're getting.
Yeah.
A lot of Danny California.
When I was gonna moan ya.
It's like surfer guy scatting. It's like as close as they can get to that without it being OAR. That OAR song with the scat break in it that I'm obsessed with. 'Cause of how
Crazy
bad
Game
it
of
is.
Poker.
Yeah.
Sure.
Crazy Game of Poker.
One of the worst songs. I know I've talked about this in the podcast. One of the worst songs ever put to record. Just
False.
dog shit, dude.
You weren't there.
You don't have the
I
context
am
for
from.
this.
Listen to that fucking guitar solo. This is the worst song ever.
Anything more than Paul. What in the world?
We are gonna get-
This is a guitar solo.
Black bandana, sweet Louisiana.
Guinness World Record for copyright
Horrible.
strikes on a single episode of the podcast.
It's just going to be accompanied with like an audible ugh. They're going to send us like an audio file.
The worst.
Okay,
Garbage.
we can stop. We don't have to keep.
Cut it.
This is like 9 minutes long. Shelby just like left. He just put it on and walked away.
Shelby's pulling the old college radio DJ.
Yeah.
Just putting on a long song and leaving.
Like we're anxious dogs. So just leave some OAR on and head out.
That's the thing. That song, not only
Air
is it
conditioning
dog
on
shit,
and their favorite music.
and it's Crazy Game of Poker, which is like a 9.5 minute song too.
That's
like
right.
A ballad, an epic.
it's so bad, and there's so much of it. There's just
a bit of a tale.
it's incredible.
Inside.
Yeah.
Well,
Anyway,
it stands for OAR stands for of a revolution. Just in
that's
case
right. They were white Rastafarians. They have a whole song about it.
Number
He's
2.
back.
He's back. He made his
SNL,
triumphant return.
They brought him back for the SNL 50 in the "We're sorry about these sketches" or whatever, and they said that, and they had Don Pardo saying Robert Blake, which was also very good.
That was good.
So anyway, number 2 comes to us also from Hamburger Hinder in the Discord, and it's a story that has followed us through time, from the Bible to Pinocchio to now.
2 of the great works.
Punta Arenas, Chile. This is a story about a kayaker off of Patagonia who was briefly swallowed by a humpback whale.
Briefly.
And he was kayaking with his father near a lighthouse in the Strait of Magellan, which just feels like a mystical place to be.
It is where you'd get swallowed by a whale, no question.
Right. If there's a place it's gonna happen. It's gonna
know a storm's coming out of nowhere. If you're on the Strait of Magellan, there's a ghost ship on there.
You just hear the Pirates of the Caribbean song, which is
You're
just asking people to bring you.
My
that
high school
horizon.
orchestra played that one time. We played that. We played the Harry Potter music. We did it all, baby.
Someone was like, what was this? Like, what was that specific time or year of? I'd be like, just play the Tiesto Pirates of the Caribbean remix. That was truly a time capsule of a song. We don't need to.
Don't do it. He's frantically.
Put it down.
He's got 8 arms like the guy in Spirited Away looking for stuff right now. All right. So this guy, he was kayaking with his dad, and humpback whale just comes up and gets him. And then he's back out again. And,
well, he's not plankton, so
right.
The baleen worked.
His dad is weirdly steady. I don't know why he happened to be filming at that. What a miracle to be filming at that moment.
It's kind of crazy that he filmed it and drop the camera immediately.
Right. I don't know if he had like a GoPro or something, and maybe I'm not sure what if he was holding a phone. It's like, how is the phone still in your hand? Oh, my son. There goes my son.
There goes my son.
So he kind of he's in there for a few seconds, and then he pops out, and his dad is saying, "Stay calm, stay calm," and he said, "I thought I was dead. I thought it had eaten me. I thought it had swallowed me, but it did not." And he said, the real fear was actually after he resurfaced, thinking that the animal, the whale, would hurt his dad or come up under them and send them flying or something, or that he would the water's very cold, so he was worried about that too. But his dad was like, it's all right, you're gonna be okay. And he was worried because he was kayaking, he was worried he's gonna get hypothermia or something, because I imagined he wasn't planning on touching the water or getting in the water when he was kayaking.
But I feel like kayaks are you're always flipping over in a kayak.
You got to be
That's like the number
ready
one
to
thing
flip
kayaks
around.
Do is you flip over. You're gonna get cold in there. I feel like that's crazy.
Well, I don't know what his setup was. I don't have that level of. This is an AP story, so it's not really deeply reported, I guess. But in any event, he's just like they made it home, and he's been inside a whale's mouth. So that's something that not many people can say. I'm gonna see if there's any more, if I can find any more information.
Talk about what does that smell like? That's what I'm wondering. That's number one question.
Krill, a lot of He's gonna absolutely destroy it. Freshman.
What was it? What was it like in there?
Fun fact: his fun fact is good to go for the rest of his life. I was once entirely inside a whale's mouth.
Yeah, it does also make me wonder. Can whales cough? Is it like trying to spit them out? I feel like that's something only mammals can do. I don't know if other animals can be like.
But whales are mammals, aren't they?
Oh yeah, whales are mammals, famously. Yeah.
I wonder if their blowhole is their cough.
Maybe. It'd be sick if you got shot out the blowhole.
Yeah, my understanding is he's supposed to come out the blowhole.
Yeah, this is confusing. These people
that's like the ejector seat of the whale. It's like you press a button and you go,
Okay, it does stay here. First thing he noticed after being eaten by a whale was the slime. So there was a lot of slime in there.
There's going to be some slime. Yeah.
Yeah.
Mainly slime. I'm imagining it like the thing in Nope that sucks them up. That's what the baleen would. Yeah, I'm imagining it like the people that get inside Jean Jacket. Very scary, very very scary.
It
scene.
says he felt a slimy texture brush his face, and all he could see was dark blue and white, which makes sense. And he had to think about what he was going to do next. He said he was going to think how he could survive like Pinocchio. So. Score 1 for Pinocchio over, biblical stories. Blown out there on that one. Pinocchio more memorable. And, I
don't want to be rude to him, but I don't think he was thinking about how to survive like Pinocchio. I think he was like, well, this is it for me. But that doesn't sound as good when you're telling an interviewer. Because, what are you going to do? Oh, you're going to fight your way out of this whale? Well, now you're underwater. I mean, you can't breathe under there. So it's over for you.
I guess he's not going. You know why he's not going down there? I mean, humpback whales are baleen whales, right? So their throats are apparently the size of a household pipe because they just swallow like little fish.
Oh, because it's a big filter. So he's not going down there.
The kayak's not going down there. He's not going down there.
He's just in the baleen.
Had to deal with it. So.
I also don't he's like, how to get out like Pinocchio. I'd be like, well, my immediate panic thought on how to get a whale to spit you out is like, you either have to have spicy peppers with you or like they have to have a bad tooth. Yeah. Like that's what I always think to do. I don't know. I mean, my whole thing you can't stop imagining anything from Note. This is just like, I'm like,
punch the roof of his mouth.
Yeah. If Zelda's taught me anything, he's just in a dungeon. It'll take a while, and he'll come out with the boomerang, and it'll be fine. It's just totally fine. He'll just stay in there. Be good. Yeah. A lot of, I guess no bad teeth, but yeah, that's like, you just got to wait for him to spit you out. I would just got to hope he doesn't dive, I guess, because then you'll explode in there.
Yeah, then you'll explode in there.
And then he might be able to
pressure.
Eat you.
You might get exploded into pipe-sized household pipe-sized pieces.
I hope the whales don't learn about that technique.
Yeah.
That's no good.
I don't think they want it. I don't think we taste as good as a krill. I've never had a krill, but I imagine it's like a shrimp, and shrimp are delicious.
Yeah, probably salty, nice and salty.
High protein. I don't think people are that high protein. Those whales are bulking,
Mm-hmm. Especially nowadays, very low. I feel like we're probably pretty unhealthy food at this point.
It's like, I got enough microplastics from the water. I don't need this.
Right.
Yeah.
Isn't that like why sharks don't eat us? Because we don't taste good? They'll like bite and then spit you out.
Yeah, they don't want. They think you're like a seal or like something, and that's just them checking it out. And then it's like, well, you checking it out just happened to fatally injure me. So thanks.
I think bears think we taste good. Like bears will eat us, but I don't think sharks will eat us.
But don't they give you the same advice with bears? They're like, the bear may taste you as you're playing dead, which is like the bear like scraping your skull with its teeth. It's like, just chill.
It's just the Revenant.
Be cool.
Yeah.
I think they think we're good though, because I think they will keep. I don't know. I watched Grizzly Man pretty recently. Those people got eaten. Like
tigers are one that once they start eating people, they're like. They're a man eater.
Exclusive footage of bear doing the fat guy fingers while standing over Grizzly Man, previously unreleased.
Yeah,
that's what Werner Herzog was listening to. It was that like xylophone
cartoon
that
sound,
happens.
Yeah. You must never listen to
this. Oh no!
Yeah.
Dun 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 dun.
Yeah.
I do feel like if I saw like If I saw like a nutrition facts for myself, I would be probably devastated.
I'd be bummed out.
Yeah, pretty bad. Yeah, a lot of saturated fat, huh? Okay.
Yeah, quite a bit.
Quite a bit.
Don't want that microplastic rating. Absolutely. We got a spoonful in our brains, I guess. Not my problem.
Very
nothing I can do about
content. That. Yeah.
Not my issue. I got credit cards in there. Number one.
Congrats to this guy.
Kath has fed her wallet.
And this week's number one reason to say what a time to be alive.
Number one comes to us from AR16 going on 17 in the Discord. This is a story near and dear to my own heart as someone with a podcast about scams. We actually did an episode about a guy who did this. People love to do it. There's another case of... I guess this happened somewhere in the UK. I'm trying to figure out where. Derryford Hospital in Plymouth. A 13-year-old was arrested at a hospital because He was trying to impersonate a doctor. He had scrubs. He had a fake ID. And he was trying to Doogie Howser it up. But they got him. They said, "Sir, we can't even call you sir. You're a boy. Boy, come here." Yeah.
Yeah.
So
I feel like they need to be more, cause like impersonating a doctor, I feel is such a wide spectrum of things that can mean. Like, was he just like walking around being like, "I'm a doctor," or was he like trying
doing
to get into surgery
or something?
Yeah. I mean, he was just looking around, going around looking at charts and stuff. It's probably,
I don't know. I mean, he did like, it's not like he just was bragging about being a doctor or something. Like, he did walk into a hospital with scrubs.
He was like doing
and
rounds.
a fake ID.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I still wouldn't want. This is the classic guy who is pretending to be an what was it, gynecologist?
Yeah, this is who we did an episode on, Malachi Love Robinson. Yeah, there's the Lie, Cheat, and Steal about him. He kept trying it. He kept getting caught and kept trying it again. He wouldn't give up. It's like, apply that tenaciousness to your studies.
Just go to med school.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's like, it's not. It's gonna take too long. I need to. I need to get in there now. I learned by doing.
Mm-hmm. Visual learner. Yeah. I feel like if there was one of those, if there's like a Doogie Howser style doctor, one of those young geniuses, and that was my doctor, I still wouldn't want them. Even if I'd be like, "This doctor's 14," and they'd be like, "He's a genius." I'd be like, I still just want the regular one. Can I just have a regular one? I don't care how smart he is.
I mean, I've been
rejecting the good doctor. Right?
Yeah, I don't want to be part of that guy.
I don't want the good doctor. I don't.
Get him out of here.
Yeah. I don't know. He can like read my charts or whatever, but I don't want to like talk to him about stuff,
I don't know. Have you guys I've had doctors younger than me now. That's happened a couple times, and it's weird. It does feel strange.
I'm not going to ask my therapist how old she is, because I do feel like that would change the thing forever. But I have a hunch that she's
it was weird.
Me.
Mine is like a year or two younger than me, and when I found that out, it was weird. It definitely was.
Your therapist
strange.
keeps saying things are a little sus.
Yeah,
for real.
Yeah,
you're low key depressed.
This is over.
A bit of a doomer, are we? Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I just like, you get older, it's something you gotta deal with. Eventually, people with real adult jobs are younger. You need a new kidney slime.
Yeah.
Eventually, people who have like more knowledge than you are younger than you. I don't know. It's weird.
13 is too young, man.
No,
yeah, well, of course.
Well, no, but I'm saying
reflexes.
It's too young to get away with it, though. You know what I mean? Like, because like the next question, like, because you have to like load up the like, oh no, I'm like really smart and I went to med school already, or you know what I mean? You have to already kind of, unless he like looks really old, I just don't see how.
But you gotta be like at least passing yourself off as like 20 minimum,
right?
That's the doctor. And if you guys been watching The Pit, it's very good. It's medical
I've heard
drama.
it's good, but
there's a 20-year-old resident on there, and people are like, should you be here? Like, I don't want to talk to. She's a child, like. Yeah. But I feel like that's the youngest you could possibly be.
Yeah, maybe he's maybe he's one of those 13-year-olds that has like a full mustache. Remember that kid?
It's true. It could be that kid.
There's always the one kid who's just like got a full mustache.
No, he's got a mustache.
Yeah,
if you can grow one. Why not?
Mustache
a lot of adults
checks out.
can't. Yeah, I don't know. He's got to be at least 20. And that's, as we've all agreed, the minimum age.
I do feel like 13 is the cutoff, though, for like pretending to be an adult, or an adult in this case that I'm going to talk about, an adult pretending to be a kid. We did this Lie, Cheat, and Steal about this woman who was pretending to be like a troubled teen, and she was like 32, and she was getting away with it when she was pretending to be like 16, 17, and then she flew too close to the sun and said she was 13, and people were like, she's not 13, she's 32 years old.
No.
So that's what she got caught. I just feel like that's over the line. You gotta wait. If you want to pretend to be a doctor, wait 2 years. You'd probably be okay.
Yeah, you gotta go into the kind of confusing mix of like 15 and where it's like, like some kids have beards now, some kids don't. Like, it's just
right. Yeah, and you gotta have your growth spurt early, I think.
Yeah.
Although I don't know, I feel like with dudes though, like there are some guys who I feel like look 14 until they're 28. I feel like you might be able to be one of those, but good luck being a doctor if you're one of those guys. That seems hard. I don't think people are going to take you seriously.
Excuse me,
it's unfortunate.
When is the doctor going to get here?
It's unfortunate for the very young-looking men you're talking about, because I feel like those guys more than any other always try to grow facial hair to combat it, but then they always end up getting like a dirt lip, and then it's like you look more 14.
Yeah,
right. Just go in. I don't know how you look older.
You just got to be patient.
Scar.
Yeah, I don't know. Get sunburned a lot
or something.
Get some
get
wrinkles.
A lot of sun damage.
That'll work.
Get those laugh lines going.
Yeah,
you gotta get some crow's feet ASAP. But then you just look like a wise baby, and that's no good either.
Yeah. Some people look like that forever. That's a weird look.
Mm-hmm.
Hard to deal with. Hard to take. Wise baby. Well, yeah.
Just a tough stuck between worlds.
I hope this guy takes our advice and tries again in a couple years, I guess. That seems like what we're trying to tell him to do. So
he's got an interest in the profession. I think they should tend that. I think they should, water this seedling.
Yeah,
see what it grows into.
This is who, like, in the TV show about the jail. This is like who does all the like street medicing in the jail. Is the guy who got arrested for pretending to be a doctor.
Which TV show about the jail? Prison Break?
I'm just thinking any of those. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Just this is like a classic stock archetype, I feel.
Yeah.
In The Sopranos, there's the guy who's giving Johnny Sack the medical advice, and then he's like an orderly in the jail hospital, and then he finds out he killed like 3 people, like he killed his wife and stuff. And he's like, I don't know, I trust him. I trust his medical expertise.
Yeah. No, I mean I'm just saying jail surgery, that would do crazy numbers on YouTube. Somebody get like
jail surgery?
Yeah, double doing pimple popping in jail. Oh man, combine them. But
Business
that guy
idea.
keeps making weird little foods,
Weird little foods.
You never seen the guy who's like, he does all these things where he makes different prison foods. Somebody's like, hey, can I get a blah? And he goes, I got you, Sally. And then he mixes like Kool-Aid into a packet of ramen, and then he's like, here you go.
When you said weird little foods, I thought you meant like miniatures.
Yeah,
I was like, what are you watching?
Very carefully painting a little hamburger in a little like fast food cup.
Yeah.
I would watch that on YouTube. It sounds cool. So I got excited.
That does sound like something that the mob boss would do in prison. Like he's got he's had them smuggle him in a dollhouse
to paint his little mans.
Yeah, just with little mans. Got that? Yeah.
This big contraband that doesn't want anyone to know about.
Yeah. It's little figures.
His little guys.
Homies.
He's painting his homies.
Yeah.
All right. We should do plugs. It's time to go.
Y'all ready for this?
Find our Patreon bonus episodes, merch, Discord, and more at whatatimepod.com. And follow us on Twitter, TikTok, YouTube, and Instagram at whatatimepod. Check out Cap's other podcast, Lie, Cheat, and Steal, about liars, frauds, thieves, and bullshitters. Theme song by Naughty Professor. Thanks for listening, and best of luck.
No plugs for me.
None for me. I'm just hanging out.
None for me either. Enjoy.
Well, black bandana, sweet Louisiana, robbing on a bank in the state of Indiana.
Check out Pretty
She's a
Little
runner,
Ditty.
rebel and a stunner, on the mirror way saying, baby, what you gonna? Looking down the barrel of a hot metal 45, just another way to survive.